Let's make a UX portfolio site using Framer. I've looked at a lot of portfolios from internships to hiring for full-time roles, so I'll be approaching this video from more of a recruiter perspective. To stand out in today's market, now's an opportunity to focus more on your unique visual style in combination with storytelling. So let's go ahead and dive in. After talking with recruiters, here are some general tips to keep in mind. First impressions are important. Think of the intro on the landing page as a mini 2-sentence resume. It's your opportunity to give a glimpse of you and your experience, so call out any company, clients. Saying any of those things will help you become more memorable to a recruiter when comparing candidates with each other. Also, 3 to 4 projects is expected within your portfolio. It's not less is more, but best is more. With this, it's best to include one project where you fully own the end-to-end full UX design process, and at least one of the other projects should be for a client. For me, I currently have 3 projects, and you can brain dump which ones you want to show within Figma. Additionally, the goal of your portfolio site is to be memorable, whether it's with a unique visual style or showcasing any extra UI design challenges, having a LinkedIn blog, any speaking engagements. All of those are good options. As an example, a discussion with a recruiter can go along the lines of, "We have a few candidates. What do y'all think of the one from Meta? I think he was also at LG for a bit." Anything that helps you be memorable and is relevant, consider it within your portfolio. So let's talk about creating this unique visual branding. I think the easiest way is to focus on typography and adjust the background to how you'd like. The point of this is to not look like other generic portfolio sites, so take what I like as a visual style with a grain of salt and make it your own. So to help find your sense of visual branding, what I found helpful is saving a lot of posts from my Instagram, and over time, a sense of a certain font or a graphic style stands out to me. I then go to find my font to reverse image search, or better yet, if you're on a website and want to find out what font they use, you can right-click, inspect element, and it'll be stated there. So feel free to dump any screenshots, fonts you're thinking of within Figma, and play around with the above elements to gain a sense of what kind of visual style you prefer. Here you can see my messy versions of the intro and different styles of layouts. It does not have to be exact when you translate this into Framer, but it can serve as a guide so you don't go in a million directions when you do start building. So now let's build this within Framer. I decided to go with Framer because the interface and functions are very similar to Figma, so it's not a steep learning curve if you're a UX designer. I'm also thankful they are sponsoring this portion of the video. So now to translate your Figma design to Framer, you can use the Figma to HTML plugin, but unless you're doing something highly customizable, personally, I think for 80% of cases for new portfolio sites, it's going to be a lot more efficient to start with existing components Framer has, then adjust it afterwards. I think this is the beauty of Framer because you can quickly build out a site, but still have that flexibility to customize pre-built sections. Plus, you also don't need to worry about adjusting your custom Figma design to different breakpoints, as Framer's pre-built components will already do that for you. So let's go to my workspace and select a new project. Let's start off with a navigation bar. I'll go to the top left of Insert and choose the first one. I like the structure, but I don't want the logo. I'd rather have my initials and links on the right-hand side like I designed within Figma. So let me delete the icon and group the last few menu items as a stack, which is Framer's version of grouping. Then go to the right-hand side to distribute and click End so the layout sticks to the right end of the navigation bar. I still notice there's an uneven gap on the left, so I'm going to delete that placeholder where the original icon was, then select the entire thing and add padding to 50 pixels on the right-hand side of the menu, just like we would do in Figma. Let's also add custom fonts to match our visual identity. I'm going to upload custom fonts I downloaded from Google and replace it within my navigation bar. Then to add links, especially for your resume, I recommend having your resume as a downloadable PDF file uploaded to Google Drive, as this is the easiest way for recruiters to download your resume and upload it within their system. And you can paste that link within the top right. Additionally, if you want to paste your email, remember to insert mail to, then your email within the URL, otherwise it won't work if you click the button. Now, I don't like the color of this link being blue, so I'm going to click on Link and create a new link style, where you can adjust the color and color change on hover. I'm going to opt out of the hover color change and keep it as one singular color. Let's move on to the homepage then. I'm going into my Figma, and I want my intro to be left aligned and not take up the entire width of the whole screen. So I'm going to find a pre-built section that I can work off of. This one seems like the closest match. Now I'm going to copy and paste that within my homepage and start adjusting it. I don't need the additional text on the bottom, so I'll go ahead and delete that. What's good about this is that the constraints for width of text is automatically set, so I don't need to worry about those being responsive for different breakpoints. Personally, I really want a gradient background for my homepage, so I'm going to implement that and come back. You can use a particles component from their framer.supply store, and I'll link the exact tutorial for that below. With that done, let's move on to showcasing our case studies. Again, 3 to 4 projects is fine, and as long as there is clear UI of your designs with the title and a short description, the layout is totally up to you. Additionally, when it comes to showcasing NDA projects like myself, for the thumbnail, you can either have the company logo and describe your work on high-level terms while stating request for access in the description. Then again, work with your specific supervisor on what is or is not allowed, but generally, keeping things on high-level terms with private access usually is okay. Now let's move on to your case studies. Create a new page and reuse text components for your project. Overall, a good rule of thumb is to not have the case study be more than 1 to 2 scrolls on your trackpad. Doing this will force you to cut down the length and cut out any unnecessary information and be more concise. Additionally, there are different ways to go about this, but a helpful aspect to storytelling within your case study is to make the header the insight. Also, make it have good contrast. This is a piece of advice my mentor from Google has taught me. So don't just say problem, but state the problem as the main title. If a recruiter is to only read the headers, they should still understand on a high level what your project is about. Another easy tip, contrast is key. So either double the weight of the title or at least double the font size to make the header stand out. To work on typography, there is a really good video from the Futur that I highly recommend that will help you develop a sense for typography. I will link that down in the description and you can watch that for later. Moving on, the general structure I recommend for case studies is starting with the problem, then the solution, and then working backwards starting with research. So this is essentially saying, here's where I started, here's where I ended, so here's how I got there. Making case studies are not easy, so always make sure to gain feedback. It'll take a few tries, but overall, try to lead your case studies with visuals. Say if I zoom out, it should not feel like a wall of text. During each section, keep it to less than 3 sentences. And in terms of visuals, I highly recommend you create it all within Figma as there's a lot more customizations for you to import within Framer. Remember the rule of thumb. The whole case study should not take more than 2 trackpad scrolls for you to go through. Let's finish off your site for it to be published. Remember to link all your case studies to the homepage. A small thing, don't make my mistake and make sure to unclick draft to publish that site, otherwise even if it's linked, it won't show up. Now go to the top right to publish. You can get a free domain from Framer to instantly share if you don't want a custom URL. You can get custom URLs from GoDaddy and there are many tutorials on that. And we can also adjust how you want your page to look in the search engine. There are so many different ways to customize your site, but overall I hope this gave you perspective on the approach so you can make your site your own. First version of your portfolio will not be great. It's not going to be 100% to your liking, and that's to be expected. If you're in the stage of applying, I think the main priority is just to have something to show out the door, because as long as you have a portfolio, at least you still have something to apply with and you can always go back and reiterate. I cannot tell you how many times I've redone my portfolio. Even after this tutorial, I'll probably make some more tweaks. So take a deep breath, rewatch the video a few times, get feedback from any professors or teachers or people within your network, and know that you can always reiterate your portfolio moving forward. And if you want to try Framer, use my code Sharon or click the link down below to get 25% off your first 3 months. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Leave any comments or questions you might have down below. My name's Sharon. I hope this video was helpful and best of luck.